easy, and I can't wait to see the day that disappear, so that we can really see the true talent of our children. The most talented people don't memorize. They don't. They hate memorization unless they are acting and you ask them to memorize a line. Other than that, creative and talented people don't know how to memorize, and we are leaving them out because our WAEC examination is lending itself to memorization. So we are in dialogue with them to look at a day when, because memorization means you have some facts. That's at the comprehension level. You have to go to abstract level, and that is when you test the children on things they've never seen before, but you've prepared them with skills to be able to answer those questions. So I know you are very innovative, but sometimes you're also boxing if you happen to be doing BEC. Because you have to do the BEC way. And we believe that that's not the 21st century way. And we are very hopeful that with time, we'll be able to create an innovative curriculum that will truly inure to the benefits of all children, not just those who are doing the Cambridge, but those who are also doing BEC. I've been pushing for making sure that we can stamp out more practices in the examination, and suggested to WAEC about creating different versions of the same test. I've just seen a newspaper report that says they are going to do that, and I'm very happy that if they carry through and do about 10 versions of WASI, you can go and hide in the bush and come and tell people number 1 is A, number 2 is B. Your number 1 is not A. My number 1 is B. And Akoshia's number 1 is C. So we have to stamp out, and as government invests a lot of resources in education, we have to stamp out cheating, because it defeats everything that you do. If teachers know that children, they will collaborate and allow cheating to go on, they won't teach. And if children know that cheating is going to happen, they won't learn. So it defeats every purpose, every effort at education. And I'm glad West African Examination Council is moving on that tangent to ensure that you truly can cheat. And so if you have 10 versions, and my version is different from yours, sit next to me and copy me. And you see what will happen to you. So sometimes people say that as you talk about bringing up ranking of schools, it's going to bring about more cheating. And I said, no, we have an antidote for that. We'll stamp out cheating. And I hope we'll get to that point. But we are looking at various ways to help transform our schools. And of course, we'll learn from you. But I also know that we have to improve instructional practices to make it, take it to the point where teachers are teaching differently. But you cannot just say that I'm going to teach differently if you also don't change the configuration of the classroom. That is why the new KGs that we are building, you're not going to see those so-called dual decks, mono decks. No. We're talking about round circular tables, and children will sit around and they'll collaborate with their peers and learn better so that we can have better outcomes. So we believe that you cannot just talk about, oh, I want teachers to teach well. Have we given them the tools to teach well? Have we trained them? So we are doing everything. We think it's a holistic approach, and that is what we are doing at the Ministry of Education. And you can't talk about curriculum, we can't talk about instruction, we're not talking about assessment. And when we don't have a national assessment, how do you tell that your primary 2 students are up to par and that they are reading at grade level? So we are introducing national assessment, and I hope private sector will join us to also assess your students so that we can truly compare, which means that primary 2 students will be assessed in English and mathematics, primary 4 will be assessed, primary 6 will be assessed. You use the intervening years for intervention. So when you assess your students in primary 2 and we recognize the vast majority of them cannot read at grade level, you have primary 3 to do intervention. And we test them again in primary 4. All education nations that have developed in terms of education do assessment. They don't wait till 11 years. KG 1 to junior high school 3, 11 years of education, that is when you're assessing, so it's too late. But if you do primary 2, you may be able to rescue a number of the students along the line and create a sense of urgency. And reports will go to parents for them to know that my child is not reading. What can I do? And it will also determine, to show you areas where the children are not reading well and what you need to do as a school and what we need to do as parents. So we want to cover the whole gamut, curriculum, instruction, assessment, and begin to look at how do we really stem the tide of underachievement in our schools. And I'll be the first to admit, and when I admit, people are saying I'm blaming somebody. No, I'm not blaming anybody. First of all, I take responsibility as the deputy minister in charge of general education from KG to junior high school, senior high school. If students are not doing well, I take full responsibility, at least for the last 2 years. And then that is what creates a sense of urgency for me to look at what do we do. But if I come and stand here and I blame others, I'm not going to be on my toes to look at what strategies I have to advise the minister on to do so that we can turn around. But there's no, we can't cover it. It's public information. Our schools are not doing well and something needs to be done. And that is what we are determined that we have to look at the whole facet, look at every aspect of our education system. If you read the World Bank report on education in Ghana, if you look at Facing Forward, and when they tell us that even though we have 11 years of compulsory education from KG to junior high school, our effective years of schooling is 5.6 years because students are simply not learning. We have to take that and say that we don't have to say to hell with World Bank. No, we have to accept it and say where did we go wrong and how can we do things right so that children will leave our schools fully educated and able to work and do things that these days they cannot do. At least be able to read and write. I've never seen a high school student walk into my office asking for a job because we have given, there's this mindset that you go to high school to go to college. But high school is middle level skills development, and to the extent that we can look at our curriculum and make it not just college ready but career ready and infuse career readiness into our high school curriculum, high school students can also say I can create a job, I can create a business for myself, or I can look for a job, a middle level job for myself. All that we are saying is that we have work to do, but we are excited that we can create the necessary infrastructure, especially electronically, to begin to take us forward. For example, USAID have done a pilot where they are able to track the location of circuit supervisors using GPS. So a circuit supervisor cannot just write a glowing report as to what they've done and send it to headquarters. Your location is monitored, and the hours that you spend at the school is critically seen and analyzed so that you can't lie that I didn't go there. So that's the power of technology that we need to use. For the first time, we've also deployed a scheduling software, and that has enabled us to know all the schedules of all senior high schools in the country, so we know how many hours teachers are teaching in our senior high schools. This is something we couldn't have done without technology. And also, we can tell you today how many students are enrolled in all our schools across the country because of a student information system that we are using at our senior high school. So we applaud InfoView for the work that you are doing and for innovations that you are bringing, and we will talk more to see how you don't abandon private, but how you can also work with us to look at what we can do in that space. We are very grateful for your innovation, your creativity, and for your courage to come home. It's not easy when you are living comfortably in America and then you say to yourself, I want to go back. And you know you are doing so well. Some of us have to do that, and I'm glad you came. And these days, people are watching us around the world, social media. If you're in America, you can come back home. And I'm sure you enjoy yourself in Ghana. You enjoy yourself in Ghana, but it's not easy to leave the comfort of the place that you call home and then come to your old home and enjoy yourself. I'm grateful for this invitation, and our private school owners and proprietors and headmasters, and I'm sure you use more principals. We're also grateful to you for your leadership. We are humble enough to tell you that we want to come and learn from you. And that's why I visit your schools too, because they are all my children. And the good news is that I don't have to pay for them. So that is why I'm so grateful to every one of you. Grateful to the parents, but grateful that you opened the school that the parents liked, and now they are coming to you, and there's nothing that I have to pay. And they still turn out even better sometimes than mine, so than the ones we spend money on. But we are very grateful. And I hope the next time I come, I'm going to see a different innovation. Every year I see something different, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you this afternoon. Thank you.
Honorable Deputy Minister for Education.